Let's get into some shite. Hi, friends. Welcome to Apocalyptic. I'm Rick, and I am going to be talking to you for a few minutes. Not long, just a little bit. Take some time out of your life to hear someone else's point of view, especially mine. Hope you're doing well out there. I'm doing pretty well, pretty good, pretty well. You know, my neighbor, if you listen to the last show, I've been looking for my neighbor. I still haven't found my neighbor. So I don't know if foul play has happened. I actually was like, what, should I call the cops and get a welfare check? And I don't know. We did see some a couple little things that made me think maybe things are okay, but still no evidence. I don't know. It could just be circumstantial. I'm just like, you just never know. I mean, there's so many things that could happen. There's so many legitimate things. There's so many wrong things, and I just don't know. And I just, it's none of my business. So, you know, I shouldn't necessarily be meddling. But at the same time, you want to protect people. You want to help people if you could, right? So I don't know. But I hope you're doing well. Hope all your neighbors are safe. Hope you're safe. Never hear from you. You never write. But you can do that. You know, you can visit me on Facebook. You just send out a little message and say, hey, how's it going? Like the podcast? Hate the podcast? You're a dumbass? I don't care. Whatever you need to say. You can do it on Facebook or through email, rick@apocalyptic.com, or our listener line, which is 678-348-0008. And that's a line that I set up for you to be a part of the show. If you haven't understood that part, you can be a part of the show by calling that line and then just saying whatever you want to say. I'll put it on the show. Or if you're shy, and I get it, I'm shy too, text it. Just text that same number. Do your text. I will read it online. I don't have to put your name on there. You don't have to say your name. In fact, you could just call the line and say what you want and then say, don't put this on the air. But I prefer you not. The line is there, so we'll put you on the air. I'm trying to do a recording of this. You know, so doing a podcast is weird anyway, just talking to yourself. But recording is also weird, and it just feels, I don't know, it's very intimidating, and it's like somebody's peeking at you or watching you, and you're trying to be natural and normal, but then that guy right there, see that guy right there, is looking at you. So it's kind of weird. So hey, so this is weird. I got to figure out how to start this, how to talk about it correctly. When I was a kid, my grandfather used to listen to music really, really, really loud. And he listened to more like what you would call it easy listening, maybe. It wasn't jazz. It wasn't like Sinatra. It was like strings, you know, just like really like elevator music you hear in the dentist office. And he would listen to it like full blast. You hear it all over the house really loud. And my mother and some other people used to say that it made him deaf listening to music that loud. And then I started realizing, I think it's a good possibility that he started losing hearing and then played his music really loud because of that. It wasn't the other way around. And because I've noticed as I've gotten older, I'm losing hearing. Now, I've always listened to music kind of loud. So that could be argued. I can remember, so I have, what do they call it? Tinnitus. I used to think it was tinnitus, but it's tinnitus, which is the screaming cricket noise in your ear that never goes away. I don't know if you have that. I think as you get older, it's just kind of a natural thing of life. But mine happened in 1981, right after I saw Van Halen live in concert. And not only that, my clothes smelled like pot for a week. But the sound, so I didn't, it was my first rock concert. I didn't know that this was going to happen. So I went and I listened, and I didn't take any protection. This was the very early 80s, and no one cared about their hearing back then. And you just put things directly into your ear. You didn't care. And so I went and let's see, first year, I wasn't really close. Second year, maybe that's when it happened. I was like right in front of the stage. I mean, I was right in front of a speaker. And you're talking about Van Halen in front of Van Halen speaker? No ear protection? Come on. And what I didn't realize that would happen is for days after that, it was just like someone had put stuff like cotton in my ears and just put their hands over me. I couldn't hear anything for days. I didn't know that would happen. No one warned me about that. Do I have a lawsuit? Can I sue David Lee Roth? At this point, it's 40 years later, right? Yeah. Can I do that? Is that possible? Can I get a piece of that? Of the Van Halen pie? I don't know. Anyway, it was weird for days just hearing nothing but muffled sound. And gradually it kind of came back, but I always had that ringing in my ear after that. That never did stop. So, my video just went off. Okay. So this week we will not video. I got to figure this out. Electronics just don't like me. That's what it is. Anyway, the sound in my ear, the screaming, the crickets, whatever you want to call it, never went away. It's always been there, and I've learned to live with it. You know, it's just what it is. But I would say the last 10 years, I've noticed a more increased loss of hearing. And in the past couple years, it's even worse. Now, that happens as you get older, right? It just does. And since it's sort of genetics, it's in my family, that's just going to be the way it is. You know, it's probably going to get even worse. And back in the old days, old dudes got hearing aids, right? And maybe I should do that. I should look into doing that potentially. I think hearing aids have gotten better. They're easier to get and they're cheaper. So maybe I should do that. But one of the things that I've noticed is it's one of the few, I never know what word to say here. I don't want to say disorders, although it is a disorder. It's hearing, you have hearing loss. All right. So it's one of the few disorders that people they can't identify when they look at you, right? So people don't understand that you can't hear what they're saying when they're talking to you and you're looking at them. And it's really like my wife has diminished hearing as well. And our entire life is, huh? What? Each of us have to say whatever we're saying. We always have to say it at least twice. Just get ready. You're going to do it. And sometimes I just think maybe I should just like write it down and just hand it to her. We should just communicate with writing or learn sign language. But you go out and people don't understand that you can't hear them and they think you're ignoring them or you're being a jerk. They don't understand that you can't hear. And what I've noticed with COVID, when COVID started happening, first of all, people put masks on and there's seeing the words formed by someone's mouth is a lot more important than you think. And a lot of times, maybe you even, for me, I might be reading lips more than I think. Now, I will say I don't have complete hearing loss. If anything, I don't know what, maybe 15%, 20%, possibly. And it's just enough to where every once in a while things just along, you know, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I missed that last part. What did you say? So I go to stores. I went to the post office. The post office have this big acrylic shield in front of the teller, and the teller's trying to talk to me through an acrylic shield with a mask. There's no way I can understand what they're saying. And then there's a sign that says, do not come around the partition. So that I can't. They act like there's something wrong with me. I mean, maybe I can't hear. It's not something wrong with me. I literally, I can't hear. So, and you're setting up barriers to where I can't hear. So I've been thinking maybe and I did some research. I can't find, there's nothing like this that exists. There should be like a bracelet, there should be something that you could wear that if you have if you're hearing impaired, you have some hearing loss, whatever, you should be able to wear a bracelet that is easily identifiable. That's a color that everybody eventually realizes means hearing loss, hearing impaired. I don't know what the color is. Well, I'm always confused, but let's get color stripes. I don't know, combination of colors, something that when you look at it, people go, "Oh, hearing loss, hearing impaired." And that way you can wear braces when you're out and you're trying to talk to people or people trying to talk to you. They understand. This person might not understand what I'm saying immediately. We need help. I think that would be very helpful. I haven't seen it, so I'm thinking of inventing it myself. I did invent it. I'm thinking of manufacturing it myself. Do you think there would be an interest? Do you think it's a need? There's certainly a need, pretty sure. Coffee today, warm, makes me feel good. Whew. It's a Monday show. I wasn't sure what to do today. I'm kind of laid back. I'm at the end of the month. A little bit, tiny bit anxious, stressful, handling it fairly well. But it's there. Every once in a while when I'm relaxing, just something goes like I need some anxiety. I'm doing okay without it, but then it just pops up. It's like, oh, here's something to be afraid of. Here's something to be scared of. I was doing well. I was relaxed. I don't need that. Now, let me ask you a question. Why do you get in relationships? Why are you in a relationship? Are you in a relationship now? Why are you in your relationship? Why do you get in relationships? If you're not in a relationship, why do you want to be in one? If you do want to, why do you? It's been very rare that I've been single and just wanted to be single, enjoyed being single, think I'll be single for quite a while. I have enjoyed single moments. And I know people who love being single and really would prefer being single for the rest of their lives. But as a person who is more of an introvert and tends to enjoy being solo, I like to have a time with some person, with another person. I like relationship time. So I can be in my room by myself. I can be in my studio by myself, and I can enjoy that. And then I want to be able to come out of that and be with someone rather than come out of that and be with myself again. So I've had times when I've been single. It's fine. It's worked fine. But I do tend to gravitate toward finding a person to be with, to be in a relationship. And I think, what do I get out of that? Obviously, everybody thinks the first of all, physical things, sex. You want to human touch. We're humans. We like to be physical with other human beings, and it does help having a single person. You don't have to pursue them. There's a certain amount of health issues that are a little more safe if you're with one person, and intimacy and just intellectual stimulation, creative stimulation. Just eating dinner with somebody is fun. So all of those things I think are important, but everybody has different needs in relationships. We all do. Some people are in relationships, they need a partner in crime. I don't know why I always go to the crime. Some people are in relationships, I don't know, for health, financial, let's say. You need health insurance. You need a house and you can't afford it by yourself. You need somebody to help you with rent. There are sometimes people are in, some relationships exist simply for financial stability. And there are other things too. I mean, there's an infinite amount of reasons to be in a relationship, I suppose. But my question to you is, why are you in yours? what is the number one thing you get out of it? Well, let's just say, what is the number one thing you seek from it? And what is the number one thing you get out of your relationship? I don't know. I ask myself that. It's changed over the years. I think when I was younger, there's a lot more immature reasons to be in a relationship. Some of it was just, to be honest, it was habitual. My parents lived their entire lives together, at least the entire life of my dad. When he died, my mom's on her own, and she doesn't want to be married. She's like, that was my husband. I don't want to get remarried. That's fine. That's what she wants. I know a couple people personally who do that, and probably a lot of people in the world. I don't know that I would be that way. I wouldn't want my wife to be that way. If I kick off early, I expect her to find some young, vibrant dude to take my place. That's fine. I'm okay with it. Don't have a problem with that. But we all have reasons, and mine have sort of developed over the years why I get into relationships. I think the times when it's habitual, when I'm doing it because it's just what I've always done or what my parents did, and that's what I'm comfortable with, those relationships tend to not work as well. They tend to end early, or they tend to be more unstable or dysfunctional, perhaps. And the relationships that I feel healthy and I'm seeking just because I enjoy being with the person tend to be the better relationships, right? And there has to be a certain amount of honesty involved in there, because sometimes those relationships where you're just doing it where it's kind of habitual, I think sometimes I'm not honest with myself. I tell myself I'm doing it because it's a good thing to do when it probably isn't. And I've been in some relationships that, you've been in a few weeks that you're like, no, this is not going to work. And those are the ones I feel like, for me anyway, I just wasn't honest from the beginning. And usually what I wanted out of the relationship was probably a little more selfish. And I think most of us, if we're honest, we get into a relationship for what we can get out of it. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. That's part of what a relationship is about, and that's cool. If you're into it for what you get, that's great. Companionship, just somebody to watch movies with, well, that's companionship. Sexual companionship. I just love going to the grocery store with my wife, just going places, doing things. Again, companionship is an important thing. And to be honest, I look at that, but when I say, what is it about? It's almost always about me. That's not cool. How many of us, and I could say, this is not a judgment, because I could say, I don't do this. How many of us have gotten into relationships strictly because of what you can put into it? I'm beginning to think that's really, though, what a relationship is about. I've never thought of it that way. But recently, just the past few weeks, I've started thinking, it's such a dude thing. It's not about me. It's not about what I need. It's not about, it's a part of that. But what if I took the standpoint in my relationship of, it's all about what I put into it? What if my relationship was only about serving someone else instead of being served? Holy crap. That's just incredible. That's just not the way I usually think when I get into relationships. It's why they haven't worked, I suppose. But really, like now, I've been in my current marriage has been going on for over 8 years, I believe. And that's not bad. That's cool. I'm fine with it. It still feels like it's been a year. It's just, for the most part, good. As far as the relationship part, we have things that come up that we have to deal with. But as far as just how we relate to each other, it's good. But I think how much of the relationship have I sat down and said, I'm going to serve this other person only. That's all I'm going to do. Not even going to think about myself. Not going to think about what I want. I'm just going to serve her. And the answer is almost 0 times I think that. But like a couple of weeks ago, I started thinking, I was like, man, it could transform the relationship, really, if you do that. I don't even know if I could say we're not wired for that, but I don't think it's how our society is set up. It's usually about, what can I get? I need more. I need security. I need to feel good. Why aren't you meeting my needs? That's what we always say, right? I feel like my needs aren't being met when we're sitting in the counselor's office. But when I think about it, when I think about the relationships in my life that have failed, that have completely fallen apart, almost every one of them has fallen apart when I wanted them to. I just wasn't interested anymore. So I wasn't putting anything into it. And there were a couple of them where they weren't interested. And I was. That doesn't feel good. But when they drop out, they're not going to put anything into it. It's not going to work. But if you think about, if you decide, I'm going to, as much as possible, serve this other person's needs before mine, and then the other person says the same thing to you, isn't that the perfect relationship? Really? Isn't that what it should be about? Shouldn't we be like finding out more what the other person wants? I mean, you could get to a point of ridiculous where it's just like, no, honey, we're only going to go to the restaurants you want. And I'm not saying that. Obviously, you both should get parts of what you like. But it seems like the relationship will work really well if we approach it from that standpoint. And I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I can't find a lot of flaws in that. So it's not the way I've done relationships my whole life. Is it too late to change? I don't think it is. I don't think it's too late to change. So I'm going to change. I don't expect that I'm going to just 100% focus on somebody else. I can't. I don't know that I can. It's habitual. I'm a jerk. I'm a creep. I'm a jerk. I'm a selfish bastard. That's me. That's but I'm capable of change. I'm capable of trying things differently. I know that about me, and I think I can do it. And whether my wife wants to come along, I don't know. Is that my business? I don't think so. I just say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to serve her. Let's see how the relationship changes. Let's see if it intensifies and magnifies the relationship. You know? Do you think about your orgasms or her orgasms or his orgasms? I don't know who the gasms are having there. I don't know what gender. Just, it doesn't matter. The other person or persons. I'm not going to get in your bedroom, how many people are in there, but I'm just saying, are you thinking about pleasing them rather than just getting yourself pleased? What if you didn't get to be pleased? What if pleasure didn't come to you on that session? Are you okay with that? Would you get fulfillment from doing nothing but pleasuring the other person? I mean, I think most of us would, right? I think so. I like to think so. All right. That's it. That's all I got to say. You should just relax now. I don't know what my wife doesn't listen to my podcast. I don't think she's interested in anything I do. Oh no, now it's about me again. No, seriously, she listens to podcasts. I don't know why she doesn't listen to mine. Maybe I should ask her. I would listen to hers, but she doesn't do one. But I think she would be very much for this. I think I'm kind of glad in this case she's not listening, because she would hold me to it. This is like, constantly I would hear, oh, is this that thing where you're pleasuring me? Is this the part of the relationship where you're thinking about my needs? I don't need that. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. I'll talk to you in a few months from now, and I'll let you know if the relationship has gotten better. It's good. My relationship is really great. I like it a lot. But I'll tell you if it gets better. And you know what? You can do it in regular. I'm not even going to go into all of the stuff, but you can do it in just your friendship relationships as well. Your relationship with people at work. Take some time out to do some things for them. Compliment them. Do a task that they were supposed to do, and you do it. Take it off of them, and watch how things change. And the same with your friends. Just kind of go out of the way to serve them just a little bit more than you have in the past. I think you'll find out that your relationships change and your life changes. It's theoretical right now. Haven't tried it enough to be able to say for sure. But I do believe thinking about other people than myself is a rather radical idea. But it's one that I'm going to test for the sake of social science. All right, contact me if you want to. Tell me what you think of the podcast. Are you listening? Are you not listening? I don't know. No one sends me a note. If you don't send me a note, certainly no one does. So I don't know. Every once in a while, somebody will comment. And I'm like, oh, cool. Someone's listening. A person is listening. But that's all I got. All right. That's all. I got nothing else, people. Anyway. Well, I'll see you Thursday. And I'm going to have a great relationship at that point.